Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing very well. Hope your week your week was all right. I hope everything worked out. We had no lectures because of the midterm test, and I'm grading your test. So it'll take a little bit of time to make sure everything's clicking together. But you should be able to see your grades sooner than later. Oh, but we're clicking right along. This week, we're going to introduce a new project. It's a individual project of presenting, of trying to persuade something. It has to do with design, and this relates to some of the videos, the supplementary material that you saw before with last week. So it should go well enough. But it has to do with flags and redesigning flags. And that's, as you might start to guess, that's what you'll be doing. You're going to redesign a flag and present your redesign and why it's a good one. So, well, we're going to have some fun with that today. But before we get deep into your project, we need to explain the 5 rules of flag design that some big fans of flags have written out. So let's sit back and enjoy the lecture. With that, let's jump right into it. Talking about flags. Flags are they're very very common symbols and that we see and use in a lot of different situations. In our video last week, I gave you the TED Talk talking about flags and the redesigning of flags and the important 5 rules of flag design. So, of course, flags, they're things that people use to be able to be recognize different groups or individuals from a distance. Easy peasy to know who is who. Before we had radio and cell phones or light-based Morse code communication, flags was the best way of sending information, and sending flag signals was the best way of communicating over long distances without actually sending someone over to go talk to them. So flags provide a lot of information, but they also provide identification. They allow organizations or individuals to express themselves on what's important and who they are and who they really are. And this will lead us into our project that we're going to talk about is flag redesign. But first, let's talk about the 5 rules of flag design. Rule number 1, keep it simple. The flag should be simple enough that a child can draw it from memory. National flags are okay with this. National flags follow this rule very well. We have Korea here. We have a very identifiable and simple design in that it's not too complicated and you can draw it from memory. People might get confused or on which one is which of the 4 triglyphs, but people can remember that you have the red and the blue and the yin yang, and you got all these things. The Canadian flag, nice, vivid, red and white, maple leaf in the middle. National flags are simple most of the time. Russian flag here with the white, blue, and red in horizontal stripes. But France uses the tricolor, 3-color, blue, white, red with vertical stripes. My apartment is having their announcements. All right. So, simple. Keep it simple. Not everyone followed this, though. We see the flags of Brazil, Old South Africa, Mexico, and Turkmenistan. You can see how it's a little more complicated. Things get a little harder. The Brazilian flag has words on it, Ordem e Progresso, and it's got stars in a particular order. South African's old flag has 3 smaller flags on it, 4 technically if you include the Dutch flag over there. But That's important to them, but it's really a confusing flag design. The Mexican flag is very complicated, but the symbol has particular meaning, so we can agree with it. And the Turkmen flag we see here on the left, that particular patterns all have meaning but are complicated. Which leads us into rule number 2, use meaningful symbolism. As in, it should be very easy to understand, and the symbols should be meaningful to the group. As in, this is very good with countries, and that these mean something to the people. So again, with Korea, meaningful symbols of the 4 triglyphs, meaning, the spring, summer, autumn, winter, or earth, wind, fire, and water. Those are 4 dualities. And then we have the duality of yin and yang, of the passion and the calm. So we have everything has meaning. Everything has meaning. The Mexican flag, we have the green and the white and the red. And in the middle, there is an eagle standing on a cactus that's on water, that's on a bit of land on water, and it's eating a snake. It's very complicated, but it's very important because that is part of their national mythology. Now, I don't think you know very much about Mexico or the people of Mexico, but where the capital city of Mexico is, it's called Mexico City. There was a city before that called Tenochtitlan, and Tenochtitlan is the capital city of the Aztec Empire. They built big pyramids as well, and the Aztec people, they were a wandering people. They didn't have a homeland. They didn't have a permanent home. They wandered from place to place. But they had a myth, a story, a prophecy where they would make their home. They would build their city where they found an eagle sitting on a cactus eating a snake. That was where they would build a home. And so they wandered for many, many years until they found an eagle sitting on a cactus eating a snake. Where that was in the middle of a swamp. And so, that's where Mexico City is now. They built their capital. They built their home there. So this is a very important symbol, even though it's complicated. So it breaks rule 1, but it's really strong in rule 2. It's part of their creation myth. Now, my country, America, we have the symbols. We have the red, white stripes, and we have the 50 stars for 50 states. So it's pretty simple. A lot of stars, though. Gets a little complicated, but meaningful symbols. Everything means something. Not everyone does this. This is the old flag of Libya when it was under the dictatorship of Muammar Gaddafi, and it's green. Now, that means something to Gaddafi, but it doesn't mean a lot to other people. He was a kind of, he had his own kind of socialist Islam, and that was the green color. Now, green's very popular in the Arab world, but just green by itself, it loses meaning. This is the flag of Seoul City. Is this meaningful? Yes. We can see that. There is a blue thingy, which we can presume is the Han River. There's a green thingy that goes up and down, which is a mountain, which Seoul has mountains and hills. And there's a red thingy in the middle. That can be 1, the sun, or 2, the center of Seoul, the old city of Seoul, which is much smaller, more compact. The areas within the city walls, inside Dongdaemun, Namdaemun, and Gwacheon, those cities. And then, but here, this is the state of the flag of the state of Idaho. There's a lot here. There's a lot of words. And the symbols don't mean a whole heck of a lot to Idaho in particular. There's a little miner guy. And Idaho has lots of mining of precious gems, of iron and coal, things like that. But so meaningful symbolism, countries are really good at this, but the smaller we go down to state or provincial or city or university level, flags get a lot more difficult to use meaningful symbols. Our university, Chuncheon National University of Education, has a flag, and you can go see it. It's on top. It flies above the administration building. And I'll ask you, what does it mean? And you might have a hard time just looking at it, being able to understand it. Rule number 3 is use 2 to 3 basic colors. Don't get overcomplicated. So basic flag colors, we have red, blue, green, black, yellow, and white, range from light and dark. So it's important also that the flag is identifiable when seen in black and white. This is important because, what if you're printing on paper? Well, then you're not, color printing costs more money, huh? Yeah, it gotta be. Korea is great at this. Again, if we printed this in black and white, we could still see it as the Republic of Korea flag. That's great. This is the flag for the state of Maryland. It's very busy with other things, so it's not very simple. But it has the red, white, yellow, black. It has simple colors. Finland has white and blue cross, but if you compare the flag of Finland and the flag of Sweden, then those look awfully similar. But if Sweden is blue and yellow, as you remember from IKEA, but if you were to print this black and white, you could still tell them apart because the white background and the dark cross, and Sweden has the dark background and the light cross. Again, Libya is having troubles. That's why they had to change their flag. This flag here, this is the old flag of the Republic of China over 100 years ago, and we've got lots of different colors. If you turn into some black and white, it'd be very much more difficult to identify. It's not simple. This final flag is the flag of the Organization of the American States, the OAS. And because it's a multinational organization, it has the flags of every single country in the organization. So that's every country in the Western Hemisphere. It's very, very busy, and it doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. Now, number 4, this one is violated quite often. No lettering, no seals. This is a flag, not a logo. A flag, not. You're not going to put this on a business card or on a letterhead. This is a flag, and this is a problem that a lot of state governments, a lot of city governments, a lot of universities have, in that their flag, they just put, the flag they have is just their logo put on a piece of cloth, and that's no good. That's not good at all. That's like designing something. Well, it's no good. It's doing something that it's not designed to do. It's not its job. You can see my home state of Washington, we have green, which is okay because Western Washington is very green. And then we've got words, the seal of the state of Washington. And there's George Washington looking very happy. In 1889, looking, the year that the state was founded. A lot of words on there. But you go over to next door, Idaho, which is to the east of Washington State, we have, this is confusing. So we have the state of Idaho, so 2 times, same words. Why? And then we have the Great Seal of. So, no, not the Great Seal. It's Great Seal of the state of Idaho, Then we have Esto Perpetua. It's Latin. And then we got all the busyness within inside. We got the cornucopia of harvest, and we've got another seal with a deer on top. It's very, very complicated and a lot of words. This one, the California Republic, you might know a bit more. This is the flag for the state of California. California was its own country for about 6 days. So this was the flag they used. So there is a historical reason that they have it, because this is the flag that they flew when they were their own little country. Well, big country, to be fair, but they were their own country. They have a meaningful symbol. They got the California grizzly bear, and they got a star. Stars are always nice. Everybody loves a star. And red. So these are it's identifiable, but those letters, do we really need them? Is it a republic? It's no longer a republic. But if we go to the Korean municipal areas or local governments, we really run into this problem with lettering because not most of these organizations, they weren't designed to have flags. They designed a logo that you could put on a business card or you could put on a letter, on a bill, things like that. See, Jolabukdo, okay, got that. Then you got Chanyanwe Bisang, okay, and you got this thing. I don't know what that is, but that's the flag. That's the flag. How are you supposed to identify that? If you're 1,000 yards away, or let's say 500 meters away, can you tell what flag that is? No, you can't. So that's a very weak flag. Jeju's got some ideas. We've got the sunrise, we've got the water, we've got the green. That's an idea. We've got a little heart because Jeju is love. That's nice. Can be nice. We got Jeju in English. That's okay. No, it's not okay. Then we got Jeju Tukpil Chachido, showing it's a special autonomous province. That's nice. But we've got two different languages, two different fonts, typefaces. But we have a nice idea with the coloring and the actual symbolism of the sun, the water, and the green. But those letters really make it ugly. Now, Rule 5. This is contradictory in a way. Be distinctive or be related. So be unique or be like everyone else. So flags have to be distinct because you have to identify different people, different organizations. But if there's common bonds, common relationships or similarities, it is good to show those similarities. Here are some different examples. The U.S. flag here, and then to the right, that's the flag of the country of Liberia. Liberia is in Africa, but it was started by freed slaves and were given money by the U.S. government. So they were American slaves from America who went back to Africa and made their own country. So they're showing that relationship there. That's what so that's nice. And then when we get into it, you'll notice there's a lot of the crescent moon and a star. And that's very important for Islam with the Prophet Muhammad. So a lot of Muslim countries have the crescent moon and star. So Turkey here, and then also Pakistan. Now, Islam is a very important part of their national identity. It's part of who they are. So it is perfectly fine to, it's a meaningful symbol. It shows them as believers in Islam. And that's really important, if these countries are, back in the old days, were working together to be able to identify friendly countries, friendly peoples. Then down the bottom left here, we see the flag of the United Kingdom of Great Britain, Northern Ireland. Of course, this is United Kingdom. So you see the red cross or the cross of St. George. That's England. Then you see this white cross that goes diagonally. That is the cross of St. Andrew, and that is Scotland. You see this smaller, thinner red cross that goes diagonally. That is the cross of St. Patrick, which is Northern Ireland. So these are three flags mashed together and made to look very distinctive. But you can separate them into separate flags. If you watch soccer, I think that might be the most obvious case I can think of, where you're going to see the individual nation flags, because in soccer they don't compete as the UK; they compete as England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. So they have their individual flags. So this UK flag, the United Kingdom, those are three flags united together into one kingdom. So that's nice. That's nice. But we go to Australia and we can see Australia, they speak English there because they were a colony of the UK. And so they have the UK flag to show that special relationship. Some people want to change it. That they'll do that when it's time, if ever. But right now and still, that relationship is important. It's part of who they are. But also we see these stars, this Southern Cross. This is very, very important to them. They're a Southern Hemisphere country. So we have the Southern Cross. So New Zealand as well has the Southern Cross constellation. This shows very important who they are and what they are and where they are as well. So those are important things to have, showing that relationship. Here we have Denmark and Norway. Denmark used to own, I'll use that word, yeah, own all of Scandinavia. It used to be one loose kingdom. We can see this in the flags, in the Nordic flag, the Nordic cross, we call it. So they're showing those similarities. They're the same religion there. They're the same. They speak very close languages: Danish, Norwegian, Swedish. They're not. They are separate languages now, but they separated not too long ago, as in they were mutually intelligible, and they still are in many, many ways. So vocabulary and pronunciation has changed over years, but if you can read Swedish, you can read Norwegian, you can read Danish. But some vocabulary has changed over time. Okay. Now, here's 3 countries, 3 different flags. They are not related. And now I get to play the game if I can remember which country is which. And I'm not sure I can. But I think, if I remember, this is Monaco. Monaco is they're famous for their casinos and their races, their F1 races. It's a very small country that's inside of France. So we have Monaco. Then I think we have Poland. Poland, of course, in Eastern Europe. They speak Polish. Here they speak French. Polish. This is Indonesia. There is no direct relationship between any of these 3 countries, but they have very, very similar flags for very different reasons. They just got the same flag. They arrived at similar flags for different reasons. Now, of course, if you ask Indonesia if they should change their flag, they'll say no. Poland and Monaco should change. And you ask Poland, they say no, Monaco and Indonesia should change. And you ask Monaco, they say no, Poland and Indonesia should change. So you have a problem. No one's going to change their flag when they all should change their flag. It's that kind of thing. But this is where it can get really confusing because you don't really know who's who. Now, if we look at how does Korea fare, we see now Korea's national flag, great flag, follows all 5 rules. It is fantastic. But how does the different parts of Korea go? And we'll have to talk about this because it's very important. We just had some news development come up recently. But we see some of these different areas, these different local areas. Now, these are the provinces and special cities. But even if you live in a gun or a smaller city, you have a flag as well. And it's probably ugly because it is. But we do see some positives for each of these. Like Gyeongsangnam-do, that logo's pretty okay. Yeah. Gyeongsangbuk-do, I don't know what. I think it's a river. I think it's supposed to be the Nakdong River. I think. I think. Maybe. But we see the sunrise here. Gyeongsangnam-do, we see the sunrise. We see like a hill. I think that's the Nakdong River as well. Yeah, it's something. Jeollanam-do, we see growing things. We see the sun. We see the gold of, I think, rice. I think if that's a river or that's part of a building. I don't know, but I'm sure it means something to someone. Jeollabuk-do, we see the colors are fine. I just don't know what anything means. Sejong City, though. Sejong is the newest of these, and the idea showing the traditional architecture, that's a neat idea that can be worked with. But the lettering, especially for how long it is, the Sejong Tokpyo Chaji Shi, it's kind of long. But Seoul's they've done much more to be more distinctive in of themselves. As a flag, it's still not pretty, but as a logo by itself, it does work. Chungcheon-namdo, they've got a tree lots of things on it. Again, it'd be okay-ish if they did something with the tree, but we have the lettering in Korean and in English. Boo on that. Chungcheongbuk-do, they just have the Korean, and then you got the hills and the water and the sun. This is Gangwon-do here. Again, with the separations, and there's a negative space showing a leaf. And it's okay. It's a good logo, not a flag. A flag is not a logo, and that's the key thing. Gyeonggi-do. Now, we have to talk about this. This is the worst one. We have the logo here in the middle that means nothing. It's like a mind map, and I thought it was supposed to represent the individual cities and counties of Gyeonggi province. That's what I thought. I thought that made sense. Like, oh, this is Yangpyeong, and this is Gwangju, and this is Hanam, and this is Seongnam, and this is Yongin, and like, oh, that's something, and they're all connected. No, that's not what it means. I didn't know that, but that's not what it means. We have Gyeonggi-do, because you got to tell it, because we can't tell from this. Then Segesoke, in global inspiration. So we have a slogan, which again, it's great to have a slogan, but we shouldn't put our slogan on our flags. And so it's really ugly. It was so ugly that they just changed it. Ulsan, we've got like a mountain and a little thingy there. Busan actually looks... not to spoil things, I think Busan did a very good job. We've got use of the color blue, which is good. Busan, blue. We've got a little seagull flying around. We've got the water. Busan's famous for water. We've got land. We've got dynamic, which is what they're famous for. Dynamic Busan. That's their slogan. So I think Busan did a very strong effort. Jeju, we discussed before. We got lettering. Daejeon got lettering, and it looks like a company logo. That's kind of weird. Gwangju, again, got lettering. We got looks like it's a person waving their arms. Incheon got the spiral. And so, does this mean Incheon to you? Some of us are from Incheon. Does this mean something to you? And that's a question that you should ask yourself. If you look at your city or province's flag, do those symbols mean something to you? If they do, that's great. That's fantastic. If they don't, what would mean something to you? Because here we have Daegu as well. And I think this reminds me of the old, or I don't know if it's old or not, but the Hyundai logo. Not the Hyundai cars, but the Hyundai, the 3H things. But Daegu does have mountains, so that kind of works. The coloring, it's a bit ugly, but can't account for taste. Now, Seoul had a different flag from 1946 to 1996. Then they changed to this. This is the new one. This is the old one, and call me something, but I think the old one looks super good. We have the wall of the old city, which is, hey, that's something. And got if you live in Seoul or visited Seoul, you know about the old city wall. You can walk around it. It's a nice day. Then we have several different points, which these represent different mountains of Seoul. Like Namsan, Yongsan, Dansan, which is, I think, is quite nice. I think that's a very poetic part of it. Now, just to go back, let's bring it up. Here we go. Here is Gyeonggi's new logo and what they'll put on their flags now. We see up above from 2005 to 2021, the one I really hate. This is the current one. And it's not perfect. It's an improvement. It's like if I had to give from a score of 0 to 100, the top one, the old one, I would give that 10 or 15 out of 100. Almost complete failure. Not just almost complete, like almost a zero. Almost a zero. This one down here, this is a good 40 out of 100. It's still bad, but it's a huge improvement. Like, you went from like almost absolute 0, 0, 0 to, that's a good 40. Almost 50, yeah. See, these are supposed to be your Gyot, so Gyeonggi-do. What do these mean? I don't know. It's not immediately obvious. Then we still have the Gyeonggi-do in English and the Gyeonggi-do in Korean. Why do we need that? We already said Gyeonggi-do right here. Why do we need to say it 3 times? But it is better. It is better. And that's nice. So why am I boring you with all this? Well, this is what you're going to do. You are going to design a new flag for your local area. That can be your city, your province, a district, or Gyeode as well. You can you can find our flag. You're going to design a flag that should look good on a 1 inch by 1.5 inch piece of paper. Now that's 2.5 centimeters by 3.8 centimeters. So a small piece of paper. Because like it says in the TED Talk, any flag should be able to look good at that small space, because we don't look at flags close up almost all the time. We look at them from far away. So you're going to redesign your local flag. And what I mean local, you could be provincial, city, or district, or university. Don't look at national flags. Do not look at national flags. Only Korean municipal local flags. So that's very important. Your art skills are not paramount. They're not important. This is not an art class. What I'm looking for is your explanation, your persuasive language, the words you use to explain why your design is good. So you're going to redesign a flag from your local area, provincial, city, district. So it's a place you have personal connections with. That's important. So don't go changing the flag of Nepal because you're not Nepalese. So your flag design will need to fit onto a small area. So I want you to see a small picture of your flag, not large A4 size. If we put large A4 size, that means that your flag design can be too complicated, too busy. You will need to explain what is wrong or bad about the old design. What's bad about it? Explain your new design. And what does each element mean? Why are they important to design? Everything you put on your new flag has to mean something, and you need to be able to explain what that means. So you're going to redesign your flag, prepare explanation of the flag, explain what was bad about the old flag, why yours is better, and explain the meaning of flag, and record a video presenting your flag. You'll need to show your flag and explanation, and show the old flag so I can see what you're talking about. So you'll need to show the old one and your new design to compare them. And there we have it. That's our lecture for this week. We have a big project. Make sure to please check up on eClass, and we will know what the dates we're working with are and how we're working with them. This project is not a big major project. It is a smaller one. It is individual. It's something that we should be able to whip up pretty easily, pretty quickly as well. So it's something we're going to have to work on in the next, really, just couple of weeks. And we'll get those taken care of and locked away. So make sure to check on eClass for the due date details. And we'll see each other again next time. Let's watch a short example video of what I can expect you to do for your flag redesign project. It's nothing too complicated, but I think this example video that I prepared earlier might help you a lot in realizing it's really not that much. Let's watch. Hello, my name is John Harrison, and I want to talk to you about a problem that Gyeonggi Province has. A major problem. A flag problem. The current flag of Gyeonggi-do, of Gyeonggi Province, is an embarrassment. It's a disaster. It is quite literally a logo that was never meant to be placed on a flag. It is confusing, nonsensical. No one can know what it means by looking at it. Let's take a look very briefly. We have a white field, perfectly fine, but then it gets confusing. We see a blue square at an angle, and what appears to be a light green and a orangish square underneath, with a circle, with a series of circles and lines connected in a pattern of a sort. Do we know what these circles mean? No. What are they immediately understandable? No. We see the name of Gyeonggi-do on the flag. Well, that doesn't help us. Then we say Seisoke, global inspiration. For whom is that for? I don't know. Do you know? Global inspiration. Does that mean Gyeonggi is? It has inspiration from the globe, or is it giving inspiration? Is it giving or taking? Giving or taking? Taking or giving? We don't know. It is unclear. A lot of unclear parts of this. So we don't know what it means, and we don't know who this flag is for. Flags should be for the people it represents. It talks to the people it represents, and it tells the world about those people. And that's why I think this is a better design for Gyeonggi province. This represents Gyeonggi to the world and to her own people. Now you'll notice I kept the same colors mostly, but I've changed it to be more sensical. The yellow represents rice at harvest time. As everyone knows, the best rice in Korea comes from Icheon and Yeoju in Gyeonggi-do. The green is for the nature of the province, especially in the northern part where the mountains are of Bukhansan. The dove is the provincial bird, and it represents peace and the hope for peace, especially for Korea and especially for Gyeonggi-do being a divided province. So for peace and for reunification. The blue has double meaning. Gyeonggi-do, by its very name, means the area around the capital. That's what Gyeonggi is. And so, as the blue is circled by the green and the gold, Seoul is circled by the green nature of Gyeonggi-do and the beautiful, delicious rice of Gyeonggi-do. But also, Gyeonggi-do has a lot of water. The Han River doesn't just define Seoul, it defines Korea, and it flows through Gyeonggi province. Not to mention other rivers and streams as well. So all of these meaningful symbols better represent who the people of Gyeonggi are and what is so special about this beautiful place. And that's why this is a better flag for Gyeonggi province than the disaster of the current one. Thank you.